Hello. Thank you, Shane. Well, lunch, generally, it's quieter after that, so hopefully I won't send you to sleep. Left it for 15 minutes, so we won't do too much dull and boring stuff. So 5 minutes at the end will be for Q&A. I'll do the 15 minutes. So a little bit different to the usual NFT and all the hype stuff which is happening, but this is more about the back-end infrastructure that we at Fetch are building. So I'll take you through multi-agent systems, and then we can go through the questions. So what is Fetch? What is it about? We'll take you through that. I'll explain to you a little bit about agents that we're building. Most of you might not even know what they are. Why do we need blockchain? Did we really need it to be on blockchain, and how does it all work? Then we're going to take you through what ultimately we want to achieve from this, because it's all great blockchain, it's all great automation, machine learning and AI. What is it in the end that it's going to deliver to us? And then we're going to take you through some use cases which we have built, which do apply to some DeFi space, applies to mobility, applies to other things. So let's begin the show then, I guess. So we were set up in 2018, which was kind of the end, and we did an IO, and our token is called FET. We're a team of 78 people, mostly researchers, programmers, and business dev. We've survived, so it's been up and down, but we've survived. Our backgrounds mostly come from DeepMind, which is sold to Google 6-7 years ago now. Some of you might have heard the name, but it was based in London, and we sold to Google 7.5 years ago. We're headquartered in Cambridge, so if somebody really wanted to speak to us, you can come. There is an office, but we're mostly distributed team. Just want to quickly set the scene. Our partners, I'll take you through the crypto ones as well, but names like Bosch, you probably have heard, Festo, BMW, Mercedes, Daimler, they're kind of working with us to see how we can bring this new technology actually in real-world use cases. This is a bit more a detailed partnership list. Most of you know most of the names here, but so just to explain what Fetch is. So we're trying to create organization in chaos, and you need the infrastructure for doing that, and that's what Fetch is building. So what does it actually mean in terms of DLT crypto? What it means is we're building interoperability. That's the key. Blockchain has multiple stakeholders. They need to all come together, and I'm taking you through the basics here now. Most of you probably already know this. Now, they're open source tools which then will bring AI agents onto the blockchain. Why do we need them? You need them for automation. Because if you, I'm sure most of you have done this, gone on and tried to stake a token, take it out, improve the yield, it's quite a complex task. It will improve, and I'm sure as time goes on, it will improve. But these are the tools which you will need to do all of that. So how do you take your car and attach it to DeFi? That's where we are coming from. How do you connect your home to a DeFi system which can finance your washing machine, for example? So these are the kind of tools which you're going to get from Fetch, which enables you to build those solutions. So to do all of that, we've kind of put it into 3 categories. So what are we building? So we're building a multi-agent system. Blockchain itself is a multi-agent system. And multi-agent system is where you have multiple stakeholders trying to interact with each other. Now, multi-agent system can be automated based on machine learning and AI, or it could be just humans. So we're building a multi-agent system. We're building the tools for that multi-agent system. But now, if you think about it, these agents, which are autonomous, and are trying to interact with things, what is the best thing they could use is machine learning and AI. So how do you bring machine learning and AI to these agents who need to operate on your behalf and on other stakeholders' behalf? So you have to build the decentralized machine learning core engine for them. Then the next bit is you don't want, and especially in DeFi and especially in decentralized space, most people know if you lose your wallet keys, you lost them. So how do you, and if somebody's hacked them, they're hacked. So how do you secure not just your keys, but also how do you secure data, which is going to be moving around? And we talk about data privacy a lot. How do you enable that in a system which is autonomous and it's going to run in a decentralized fashion? So we're building tools to bring that to life. So what does it actually mean? Most of you will be able to relate with this. We have our own chain, which is Cosmos-based. We don't just work with EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. We have CosmWasm, which enables you to do a lot more complex machine learning tasks. If you think about the stakeholders, and at the moment, how do you find each other? So if I said to you, you have a wallet and somebody else has a wallet, how do you actually connect with each other without you actually putting somebody's wallet address in? So you have to find a way to do search and discovery. And that, to be fair, is the core problem that we need to solve. So so if you look at Google, Google is the search and discovery for websites. How do you bring wallets and how do you bring these agents and multiple stakeholders to find each other? So we're building that search and discovery mechanism, and that's the agent-based framework, which can actually be used for layer 2 scaling, because you don't want to do everything on chain, you want to do stuff off chain. And I'll take you a little bit more through that detail in the next few slides. So how do you build these connections? So we build the tools, we give you the tools to build these solutions. So you can, when you come to Fetch, and if you're a developer or if you're a business, we're making it easy for you to deploy a real-world solution on a decentralized system using machine learning and AI. So that's what you should be able to do. We're making it as easy as deploying a website. So a little bit more towards the L2 scaling solution. So what does it actually mean? So the multi-agent system and the agents which we are building, which are software agents, they combine state channels. So you have a peer-to-peer connection with each other. All the agents can speak to each other peer-to-peer. And then you can actually deploy multiple chains apart from that. So there could be 10 agents which get together to do a task. They deploy a chain. They run the chain for as long as they need to do, and they then remove the chain. So you're kind of combining state channels and the techniques from Plasma into one kind of system, which is the layer 2 solution, which the agents bring. Then you have the aggregated signature verification, because if each and every single agent, and there could be millions of those, or stakeholders, have to do that on chain, you've seen what happens when you do a DeFi solution like a Uniswap, and the chain is busy, it costs you a lot, it takes a long time. So you do all these things off-chain. So you need the signature verification off-chain techniques. Then we have the open economic framework. So what is happening is all these agents are doing these tasks, but what are they doing it for? They are doing to exchange economic value, and what you need to do is give them a ability or protocol to actually connect with each other and exchange the information, speak to each other the same language. So we're giving them this protocol to carry out all those tasks, and that's called the open economic framework. The next bit is there is multiple chains getting deployed. How do you tap into all of them? There is a lot of issues, and there's a lot of bridges which are being built. Most of them are centralized at the moment. How do you resolve that issue? How do you create this interchain bridging, bridges for the interchain communication? So we're building the tools to do that. I'm just going to skip through some of this, but just to give you an idea, you could look at some of the applications. If you can see, there is charging points, there is mobility, there's micro-mobility, you can do parking. Now, if you bring all these agents, which are helping you to do all of that, and you try and put that on chain, that's not an easy task. You need tools and mechanism, and you need the underlying framework for them to be able to do that. And that's when the true decentralization starts to come in. Because just trying to exchange tokens from one chain to the other is only the start. It's only the beginning of this whole process. But the true adoption will come when you can use decentralization for multiple things, for data sharing, for mobility, for travel. And that's the second layer which we're building on top. And as I said, in the layer one, we're building our own chain where you can have all the tools, search and discovery, and that just takes you through that. So just to give you an overview, where do we think we're going? I quite like this architecture diagram from Bosch. It's very general and it's very top level. But if you think about where we started from telephones, we started connecting yellow pages, and we started becoming a web-based economy. We're starting to have websites, and then came e-commerce, and e-commerce brought new business opportunities. It's all about connectivity. As soon as we take a shift in how we connect, there is always new business models which come around. And if you look at where we are, I mean, we're going from roughly economy of things, and we're kind of moving upwards. So where there will be a supermodular economy, where everything can speak to everything, and you don't need centralized entities to carry out your work for you. You have your own agent. Your agent looks after you. Nobody can try and take advantage of you because you're running your own finances, or you're running your own machines, or you're running your own space. And that's overall, when you have that much data and that many transactions, what you then do is that's when you start seeing the true intelligence coming and evolving out of those decentralized space. So our objective ultimately is to build this artificial intelligence which sits on top of everything. And we don't like to call it general intelligence because it isn't. It's more collective intelligence. And we'll take you through what we mean by that in a quick succession. So what we just talked about, this is kind of a concentrated effect of that. So you have delivery networks. We have actually created a proof of concept for delivery networks, so you can actually decentralize Uber, for example, or a distribution network. You can do parking, so you don't need these big parking companies in the middle. You can connect directly to the parking spot. We've delivered that recently in IAA, and that was received very well. We have AI autonomous travel, which is quite interesting because at the moment you have these aggregators which sit in the middle, but you don't need them. So you can start seeing the potential of crypto, or effectively DLT, when you start thinking about what it actually can do. And on top of all of that, you can pay with crypto, or you can pay with any token or with any currency. But to bring that to life, you need that framework. You need that whole architecture in the middle. For DeFi especially, an example of, if any of you have participated in, which I'm sure at least probably half of you have, into liquidity pools. And if you think about 6 months ago, to pull out liquidity from a pool when there was a rug pull happening, some project was scamming you, how do you automate that process? How do you monitor if somebody is going to pull the liquidity on you? You don't, because then a lot of people lost a lot of money, and you have to be vigilant. Your agent can do that for you, and it's a 4-click system where you can actually provide liquidity and pull out liquidity. So you can build solutions like that very easily on Fetch. Just an example, if you went on and you can see this is an agent-based DEX that we're building, so it's DeFi agents doing multiple tasks. we did, as I said, we did something in mobility, which is, you can deliver people, packages, and parcels. This is all a decentralized system. It's up and running. We haven't launched it. It's commercially not launched, but it's in its MVP stage. We're trialing at the moment. Again, this is all built on a decentralized space. You have agents. You can book. You can book things. You can book people. You can book taxi. You can deliver packages. Pay with crypto. As I said, we did a trial with IAA Mobility, and that was received really well. Our partners really love it. What is the key point? The key point is you need agents to have this identity. Because if you don't have the identity, how do you prove who you are? So you need tools to take that identity. You also need payment tools to sit with agents so they can make autonomous payments. And you need the search and discovery. So I think I'm running out of time, but I'm going to quickly go through it and leave this last bit for some questions. We built some co-learning platform where you can actually, all of you can participate, and we did that with an art project to just show machine learning is not some scary thing. We all participate in it all the time. And we're giving you tools to connect your tokens, you connect your agents to actually deliver machine learning. And these are the arts pieces which were delivered using a co-learn, and a lot of people participated in it. I don't know why that one looks like Elon, but it does. Maybe people are talking about Elon somewhere. So, this is, and the other one is pretty twisted anyway. So you can see, just to wrap it up, you can actually use Fetch tools to build new solutions. It's not just about DeFi, it's about bringing new processes and new ideas to life. So if you're thinking of deploying a business in the real world but using crypto and decentralization, you can actually build it with Fetch tools. You don't have to worry about which chain. You just build a solution and you choose the chain, or you can say, I want to use it for all the chains. You can use that Fetch for that purpose. You can actually do scaling quite well with agent-based L2 solutions, because you don't need to worry about transaction speeds of a particular chain. If you want to do it on Ethereum, but you want to do millions of transactions, we have an L2 solution built in with the agents. Then the last bit, regulators, KYC, AML, ID. I mean, where do you start? All of that taken care of. You deploy your agent, you can just connect KYC, AML, and it's done. So you can actually deploy a real-world solution in a new business space, which can actually work with your crypto token. You can deploy the token, you can buy and sell in the token, all using agent-based system. So that's what we're doing. We're building this bridge between the traditional e-commerce and crypto itself. And that's it from me, and thank you very much.
Awesome, round of applause.
Thank you.
I'm always fascinated just how quickly you guys at Fetch.ai are moving. That was an awesome presentation.
Thanks very much.
First became aware of you guys, I think it was from Outlier Ventures and Jamie really pioneering what you guys are doing. But it's great to see you coming out of Cambridge and really flying the UK flag. Would anyone have any questions for Fetch.ai? Gentlemen here.
Hi there, thanks a lot for the presentation. So I had a question around, what's the main difference between collective machine learning and decentralized machine learning? I mean, collective machine learning and cloud computing machine learning, and what would you say, what problems can decentralized machine learning solve that cloud computing can't?
That's a really good question, because what you've done is really gone to the core of the problem. So we have federated learning. What federated learning does is you have this model which sits in somebody's control, and you say, all these people have this data. I'm going to train the model using all your data, but I own the model. That's the main thing. So let's say Google deploys it. You connect your Android phones with it. You teach the system, and then you pay to use it, because all your predictions come with a payment, right? Somehow, you know. So what we're proposing in a collective learning is it's truly collective, because you train it and then you own it. Because what would happen is the model itself belongs to the people who train it. So you train the model, you connect your phone with it, and you say, okay, I'm going to train this model, and all these people do the same. When the income comes out of the model, it also gets distributed to everybody. So if somebody says, I need a prediction from this model, they have to pay for it, and the payment goes to all of you. So that's the difference between collective and running it in a federated model. So the one business doesn't own it, the people who train it own it.
Great question. One more from the gentleman here.
Hi, could you please go more into depth about how your liquidity provider agent manages against the security risks of operating in those liquidity pools and its anti-rug pull solution?
Sure. So you can do multiple things. So one, your agent is in your control, and if you think about a liquidity pool itself, we call it decentralized, but it's not truly decentralized because it's one contract where millions of people put liquidity in. So if that pool gets hacked, everybody's at risk, right? So when you have an agent, and this is the transition which Fetch is making right now. So if you have an agent and you have 5 tokens, whatever the tokens are, you're in control of your agent, and you're controlling your own key password, and we have tools to make sure we can do some social recovery on your key as well. So that's one thing, because now all of you have your own tokens with your own agent. You don't put it in a liquidity pool. You trade it on the Fetch system, and it automatically treats it as an order book or a liquidity pool. You don't actually go into a pool. Now, but let's rewind back to the current system where you have this liquidity pool. What happens is a few things, which is somebody comes and crashes the price. The sentiment is going wrong somewhere, and you can see it coming, but you didn't take your action at 3 a.m. in the morning when you were asleep. So the agent is monitoring all that. And as soon as it sees the sign, either via sentiment on Twitter or Telegram or just in the news, it pulls out the liquidity. And when it pulls out the liquidity, the actual key control is in your hands. So it's not, so you hand it over to the agent only to do one thing, which is pull out my liquidity. That's it. You can't move it, the tokens can't go anywhere, so that's how we take care of that security risk.